Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Eddie Murphy. Edward Regan Murphy is an American comedian, actor, writer, singer and producer. Murphy was a regular cast member on Saturday Night Live from 1980 to 1984. He has worked as a stand-up comedian, and was ranked 0 on Comedy Central's list of the 100 greatest stand-ups of all time. In films, Murphy has received Golden Globe Award nominations for his performances in 48 Hours, the Beverly Hills Cop series Trading Places and The Nutty Professor. In 2007, he won the Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor and received a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his portrayal of soul singer James Thunder Early in Dreamgirls. Murphy's work as a voice actor in films includes Thurgood Stubbs in the PJs, Donkey and DreamWorks Shrek series and the Chinese dragon Mushu in Disney's Mulan. In some films, he plays multiple roles in addition to his main character, intended as a tribute to one of his idols, Peter Sellers, who played multiple roles in Doctor Strangelove and elsewhere. He has played multiple roles in Coming to America, Wes Craven's Vampire in Brooklyn, the Nutty Professor films Bowfinger, The Adventures of Pluto, Nash in Orbit and Meet Dave. As of 2014, Murphy's films have grossed over $3.8 billion in the United States and Canada box office, and $6.6 billion worldwide. In 2015, his films made him the sixth highest-grossing actor in the United States. Murphy was awarded the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor by the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. Early life. Murphy was born in Brooklyn, New York City and raised in the borough's Bushwick neighborhood. His mother Lillian was a telephone operator and his father Charles Edward Murphy was a transit police officer and an amateur actor and comedian. His father died when he was young, when Murphy's single mother became ill. The 8-year-old Murphy and his older brother Charlie lived in foster care for 1 year. In interviews, Murphy has said that his time in foster care was influential in developing his sense of humor. Later, he and his brother were raised in Roosevelt, New York, by his mother and stepfather Vernon Lynch, a foreman at an ice cream plant. Around the age of 15, Murphy was writing and performing his own routines, which were heavily influenced by Bill Cosby and Richard Pryor. Stand-up comedy. His early comedy was characterized by frequent swearing and sketches lampooning a diverse group of people: African Americans, Italian Americans, overweight people and gay people. Murphy released 2 stand-up specials. Eddie Murphy was his first album, released in 1982. Delirious was filmed in 1983 in Washington, D.C. due to the popularity of Delirious. His concept film Eddie Murphy Raw received a wide theatrical release, grossing $50 million. The movie was filmed in the Felt Forum section of Madison Square Garden in New York City. Murphy has said his comedic influences include Bill Cosby, Richard Pryor, Red Fox, and Robin Williams. Comedians who in turn cite Murphy as having influenced them include Russell Brand, Dave Chappelle, and Chris Rock. 1980s acting career. Murphy first earned national attention as a cast member on Saturday Night Live and was credited with helping to revitalize the show during the early 1980s. His notable characters included a grown-up version of the Little Rascals character Buckwheat, a streetwise children's show host named Mr. Robinson, and a morose, cynical Gumby, whose trademark slogan became an SNL catchphrase, "I'm Gumby, damn it." The Buckwheat character was retired in spectacular fashion, were assassinated on camera in front of 30 Rockefeller Plaza, at Murphy's request after he grew tired of constant demands from fans to de Buckwheat. In Rolling Stone's February 2015 appraisal of all 141 SNL cast members to date, Murphy was ranked second. It is customary to say that Eddie Murphy is the only reason SNL survived the 5-year wilderness without Lorne Michaels, they noted. In 1982, Murphy made his big screen debut in the film 48 Hours with Nick Nolte. 48 Hours proved to be a hit when it was released in the Christmas season of 1982. Nolte was scheduled to host the December 11, 1982 Christmas episode of Saturday Night Live, but became too ill to host, so Murphy took over. He became the only cast member to host while still a regular. Murphy opened the show with the phrase "Live from New York, it's the Eddie Murphy Show." The following year, Murphy starred in Trading Places with fellow SNL alumnus Dan Aykroyd. The movie marked the first of Murphy's collaborations with director John Landis and proved to be an even greater box office success than 48 Hours. In 1984, Murphy starred in the successful action-comedy film Beverly Hills Cop. The film was Murphy's first solo leading role. Beverly Hills Cop grossed over $230 million at the box office and was 41st in the list of all-time total U.S. box office grosses, after adjusting for inflation. In 1984, Murphy appeared in Best Defense co-starring Dudley Moore. Murphy, who was credited as a strategic guest star, was added to the film after an original version was completed but tested poorly with audiences. Best Defense was a major financial and critical disappointment. When he hosted SNL, Murphy joined the chorus of those bashing Best Defense, calling it the worst movie in the history of everything. Aykroyd originally wrote the Winston Zeddemore character in Ghostbusters specifically for Murphy, but he was unable to commit at the time due to the Beverly Hills Cop shooting schedule. The part ultimately went to Ernie Hudson. Murphy was also offered a part in 1986's Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, a role that, after being heavily rewritten from comic relief to love interest, ultimately went to future Seventh Heaven star Catherine Hicks. By this point, Murphy's near-exclusive contract with Paramount Pictures rivaled Star Trek as Paramount's most lucrative franchise. In 1986, Murphy starred in the supernatural comedy The Golden Child. Although The Golden Child performed well at the box office, the movie was not as critically acclaimed as 48 Hours, Trading Places and Beverly Hills Cop. The Golden Child was considered a change of pace for Murphy, because of the supernatural setting as opposed to the more street, smart settings of Murphy's previous efforts. A year later, Murphy reprised his role of Axel Foley in the Tony Scott-directed Beverly Hills Cop 2. It was a box office success, grossing almost $300 million worldwide. Singing career. Murphy is also a singer, having frequently provided background vocals to songs released by the Busboys. The song Back in Town was featured in 48 Hours and Murphy's comedy special Eddie Murphy Delirious. As a solo artist, Murphy had two hit singles, Party All the Time and Put Your Mouth on Me, during the latter half of the 1980s. He had started singing earlier in his career with the songs Boogie in Your Butt and Enough Is Enough, the latter being a parody of Barbra Streisand and Donna Summer's 1979 song No More Tears. Party All the Time was featured on Murphy's 1985 debut album How Could It Be, which included a minor follow-up, Ah. This track was written by Rusty Hamilton and was produced by Stevie Wonder's cousin Aquil Fudge after a brief falling out with Rick James. In 2004, VH1 and Blender voted Party All the Time number 7 among the 50 worst songs of all time. Sharam used a sample of the song for the UK hit Pat in 2006. Put Your Mouth on Me appeared on Murphy's 1989 follow-up album So Happy. Murphy recorded the album Love's Alright in the early 1990s. He performed in a music video of the single What's Up With You featuring Michael Jackson. He recorded a duet with Shabba Ranks called I Was a King. In 1992, Murphy appeared in Michael Jackson's Remember the Time alongside Magic Johnson and Iman. Though uncredited, Murphy provided vocal work on SNL castmate Joe Piscopo comedy single The Honeymooners Rap. Piscopo impersonated Jackie Gleason on the single, while Murphy provided an imitation of Art Carney. In Coming to America he imitated Jackie Wilson when he sang To Be Loved, but because the character he was playing had a thick accent he had to sing it in character. In later years, Murphy performed several songs in the Shrek film franchise. In the first film, he performed a version of I'm a Believer in the film's final scene. In Shrek 2 he performed Ricky Martin's hit Livin' La Vida Loca along with co-star Antonio Banderas. In 2013 he released his first single in years titled Red Light, a reggae song featuring Snoop Lion. He is also working on a new album titled 9. 1990s career. From 1989 and through most of the early 1990s, box office results and reviews for Murphy's films were strong, but by 1992 both declined, hitting a low point with the critically panned Beverly Hills Cop 3, a movie Murphy would ultimately denounce. During an appearance on Inside the Actors Studio, although he did find box office success with Boomerang and Another 48 Hours. Harlem Nights featured Murphy, who had previously been known only as a performer, as director, producer, star and co-writer with his brother Charlie Murphy, as well as supporting roles for Murphy's comic idols Red Fox and Richard Pryor. During this period, Murphy was criticized by filmmaker Spike Lee for not using his show business stature to help black actors break into film. Despite Murphy's films often being populated with predominantly black casts, many black actors who would later gain wider recognition make early appearances in Murphy films, such as Damon Wayans in Beverly Hills Cop, Halle Berry and Martin Lawrence in Indiana Boomerang, Samuel L. Jackson and Cuba Gooding Jr. in Coming to America, Dave Chappelle in The Nutty Professor, and Chris Rock in Beverly Hills Cop 2. Although Murphy has enjoyed commercial success since Saturday Night Live, he did not participate in the making of the Live from New York, an uncensored history of Saturday Night Live retrospective book by Tom Shales and James Andrew Miller, nor did he ever attend cast reunions or anniversary specials until his appearance on the SNL 40th anniversary special. Murphy's box office results began to recover in 1996, starting with The Nutty Professor. 1998 to present. He followed with a series of very successful family-friendly movies like Mulan Drive, Doolittle, and its sequel the Shrek series Daddy Daycare and The Haunted Mansion, along with Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps. However, most of his movies meant for more adult audiences performed moderately. Metro, I Spy and Showtime all grossed less than $40 million domestically. Holy Man performed poorly, grossing less than $13 million. And The Adventures of Pluto Nash is on record as one of the biggest theatrical money losers of all time, grossing just $7 million worldwide on a reported $110 million budget. A notable exception to this run of poorly received adult-themed films was the Frank Oz comedy Bowfinger, also starring Steve Martin. The film garnered generally positive critical reviews and grossed $98 million at the box office. In 2006, he starred in the motion picture version of the Broadway musical Dreamgirls as soul singer James Thunder early. Murphy won a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor, as well as a Screen Actors Guild Award, and a Broadcast Film Critics Association Award in that category. Several reviews for the film highlighted Murphy's performance while he received some pre-release Academy Awards buzz. Murphy was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor on January 23, 2007, but lost to Alan Arkin for his performance in Little Miss Sunshine. There was a suggestion that one of the reasons Murphy lost out on winning the Academy Award were the negative reviews of his subsequent film Norbit, released in early February 2007. As a result, Murphy notoriously exited the 79th Academy Awards as soon as Arkin was announced the winner. Dreamgirls was the first film distributed by Paramount Pictures to star Murphy since Vampire in Brooklyn in 1995. In 2007, Murphy was invited to join the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. As a result of Viacom's acquisition of DreamWorks, Paramount distributed his other 2007 releases, Norbit and Shrek III. He starred in the 2008 film Meet Dave and the 2009 film Imagine That for Paramount Pictures. Murphy co-starred in Tower Heist, directed by Brett Ratner. Murphy played a thief who joins a group of hard-working men who find out they have fallen victim to a wealthy businessman's Ponzi scheme and conspire to rob his high-rise residence. Ben Stiller, Matthew Broderick and Casey Affleck also starred in the film, released on November 4, 2011. It was reported in 2011 that Murphy would host the 84th Academy Awards in 2012. However, he dropped out of his hosting duties on November 9, 2011 in the wake of the Brett Ratner scandal. On December 6, 2013, it was announced that Murphy would star in the fourth film of the Beverly Hills Cop series. Brett Ratner will direct the film. Jerry Bruckheimer is confirmed to produce the film, and Josh Appelbaum and Andre Nemec will write. In a June 2014 interview, Murphy discussed the plot of the film, stating that it would take place in Detroit, and they would actually film in Detroit, bringing in an estimated $56.6 million to the state of Michigan. On June 14, 2016, it was confirmed that Murphy was still set to reprise his role as Axel Foley in a fourth film of the Beverly Hills Cop franchise. On March 8, 2014, it was announced that Murphy would team up with Boomerang co-star Halle Berry in a new film titled Miles and Me. The film was also set to star Lawrence Fishburne and was set to begin pre-production in 2014 from Paramount Pictures. No other word was released about who else was attached. On March 15, 2015, it was announced that Murphy will play comedian Richard Pryor's father, Leroy Pryor, in the upcoming biopic directed by Lee Daniels, with Mike Epps playing Pryor. Murphy co-starred with actress Britt Robertson in the drama Mr. Church. Family. As of 2008, Murphy resides in Long Island, New York. Murphy has a son, Eric, with then-girlfriend Paulette McNeely, and a son, Christian, with then-girlfriend Tamara Hood. Murphy began a long-time romantic relationship with Nicole Mitchell after meeting her in 1988 at an NAACP Image Awards show. They lived together for almost 2 years before getting married at the Grand Ballroom of the Plaza Hotel in New York City on March 18, 1993. Murphy and Mitchell had 5 children together: Bria, Miles, Shane, Zola and Bella. In August 2005, Mitchell filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. The divorce was finalized on April 17, 2006. Following his divorce from Mitchell in 2006, Murphy began dating former Spice Girl Melanie Brown, who became pregnant and stated that the child was Murphy's. When questioned about the pregnancy in December 2006, by RTL Boulevard, Murphy told Dutch reporter Matthijs Klen, "I don't know whose child that is until it comes out and has a blood test. You shouldn't jump to conclusions, sir." Brown gave birth to a baby girl, Angel Iris Murphy Brown, on Murphy's 46th birthday, April 3, 2007. On June 22, 2007, representatives for Brown announced in People that a DNA test had confirmed that Murphy was the father. Brown had stated in an interview that Murphy has not sought a relationship with Angel, although it was later reported in 2010 that Murphy was getting to know her. Murphy exchanged marriage vows with film producer Tracy Edmonds, former wife of Kenneth "Babyface" Edmonds, on January 1, 2008, in a private ceremony on an island off Bora Bora. On January 16, 2008, the couple released a statement saying, "After much consideration and discussion, we have jointly decided that we will forego having a legal ceremony as it is not necessary to define our relationship further, and called the Bora Bora wedding a symbolic union." The two had planned on having a legal ceremony upon the return to the US but did not, and their wedding was never official. Murphy began dating model Paige Butcher in 2012. Their daughter Izzy was born May 3, 2016. Lawsuit. In 1988, Art Buchwald sued Murphy and Paramount Pictures, alleging that they had used ideas from a screenplay he had submitted to Paramount as the basis for Murphy's film Coming to America. In 1992, Buchwald was awarded $150,000 in a summary judgment. Buchwald's producing partner, Alan Bernheim, was awarded $750,000. Both sides described the outcome as a victory. Legal issues. On May 2, 1997, Murphy was stopped by police after having been observed picking up a transgender prostitute. The prostitute, Shalimar Sayuli, was arrested on an outstanding warrant for prostitution. Murphy was not arrested or charged and claimed he was just giving Sayuli a ride. Philanthropy. Murphy has donated money to the AIDS Foundation and Cancer Education, Creative Arts, Family, Parent Support, Health and Homeless charities. He has donated to the Martin Luther King Jr. Center, various cancer charities, and $100,000 to the Screen Actors Guild Strike Relief Fund. Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Would you like to